This NBA season is becoming more and more interesting as days come by. The trade deadline is approaching. There's only a few hours left before the deadline reaches, and teams have to be finalizing every deal that they're going to make with everyone else. And once it reaches, there's no coming back. Like every deal that you made, you can't undo any of them. And while I'm going to show videos from the games that I'm showing, the one that is being shown right now is the Miami Heat. All of the games today are going to be against Southeast Division teams. The next two are going to be against the Magic, and the last one is going to be against the Hawks. Early spoiler alert, but that's not the point of this video today, because I'm going to focus mostly on what deals happen and some of the drama that's going on behind the scenes as to why teams are trying to make a trade as fast as possible. And the drama behind the Miami Heat, their main issue is the guy who just scored, Jimmy Butler. That's who I'm going to be focusing more on, because he doesn't want to play for the Heat anymore. He feels unhappy about the situation they are in. He feels like the team isn't doing enough to help him contend. And it's also considering that these past few years, like 2 out of the 3 years, they went to the conference finals. And they even made it to the finals as the 8th seed. They were the second 8th seed of all time to make it all the way to the NBA Finals. This time they lost to the Denver Nuggets in 5 games. It was almost similar to the Knicks back in 1999, where they were the very first 8th seed to make it to the NBA Finals, where they lost to the Tim Duncan Spurs. It was also in 5 games. Feats like that are super rare in the NBA, because if you make it to the finals this one year, there are chances that it may not happen ever again. That being said, Jimmy Butler has been causing a lot of drama even back in his days in Minnesota. The problem now is the Heat are handling it so much worse than the T-Wolves did back then, and even I think the T-Wolves did not do very well. They should have traded him like a lot earlier, like before the season started, like after the drama he had during practice, like with the third stringers. And the situation right now is so bad, they even suspended him several games. And when he came back, he got suspended again. And this time it's indefinite. And we don't even know when he's going to be unsuspended by Pat Riley and the rest of the Heat organization. There are several teams right now that are looking forward to getting Jimmy Butler, and he has refused to try to be traded to several teams like the Grizzlies and most recently the Warriors. And right now, there's been a package that the Suns are willing to offer that could potentially send Jimmy Butler to the Suns. Everything feels like a suspicion as of right now, but the package that could be offered is a 3-team trade, which will involve the Suns, the Warriors, and the Heat. And it could potentially send Jimmy Butler to Phoenix, and it could reunite Kevin Durant with Golden State. And there are going to be several players for the Warriors that will go to the Heat. And I'm going to interrupt this program to show you that John Collins has surpassed Bam Adebayo as my favorite alley-oop target. He just alley-oop postered 2 players. He posterizes Adebayo and Kevin Love. Watch him again. Watch him on this play. I passed the ball to him. He posterizes Kevin Love again. That play on Bam Adebayo a while ago. It was a passing of the torch, as Bam Adebayo was my favorite alley-oop target as of last season when I played for the Heat. All good things come to an end. I'm not playing for the Heat anymore. I'm playing for the Jazz. Next game is against the Magic, and the end of this game was a very good one. I wanted to show a lot of clips from the first two halves, or at least most of the first half, but I want to show you some of the best ball movement ever. I get Cole Anthony in the air, making an end one. Then there's another play which consists of a lot of good ball movement too. Screen for Sexton, I make a bounce pass, threading the needle. He gets an end one out of it. Man, I wish I could make a lot more risky passes like that more often, because in this game it just feels like it's impossible for me to do that. The CPU on the enemy team, they're like almost always anticipating where you're going to pass it. Sometimes you pass it off of the opponent's leg with all of the annoying animations in the game. There's like enough annoying animations that make the game even more frustrating to play than it should. And there's been enough cheese plays that I've seen in all of my years playing 2K. Though shout out Franz Wagner though. He's been balling against us in this game. He's been very good for the Magic as well. He was stepping up with Paolo out, and the Magic are also a team that I think should need a trade in this mid-season before the trade deadline, because their offense is currently one of the worst in the league. It's super bad, and their shooters are just not enough. But even then, there are times where Paolo just isn't like himself, like in the early parts of the season, because he missed a lot of time with injuries. The torn oblique, that was the same injury he and Franz had before they came back, and when they both came back, the Magic just weren't playing very well. They're 1 of 9 in their last couple of games, and it's like their start of the season was a fluke, because Jamal Mosley was getting Coach of the Year recognition by the media, and rightfully so, but the Magic right now are on the bricks of falling off. But they're the number 8 seed in the East right now, so they're still not far off. But they still need a lot of adjustments for them to be able to make it back to the next level. Look at that. Jalen Suggs fade away with the shot clock winding down. That's one of the cheese plays that I'm referencing in this game. Even that happened in the other 2K games sometimes. But I'm telling you, it's so annoying. There's been a lot of trade suggestions that people feel like the Magic should get. And the suggestion that has been made coming back from last season was Anthony Simons, because of how good of a shot creator he's been at the guard position in Portland. Even I felt like he was the piece that the Magic need, at least on offense, so that Jalen Suggs would focus more on his defense, even though his shot creating has been a more key element of his when Franz and Paolo went down. It just feels like he's better off as a off-ball player, more of a catch-and-shoot guy, so that he can play more intense defense, because the Magic need him on that end. And another player that they can suggest is Kobe White as well. But the thing with the Magic is, how are they going to deal with Cole Anthony, as even he has skills that are capable of him being a premier shot creator? Well, I would say premier is a stretch, but like a capable shot creator off the bench that the Magic desperately need. The problem, however, is, are the Bulls willing to make any more trades? Because they were just involved in a 3-team trade, and they just waived 2 more players just recently. Torrey Craig is one of them. It almost looks to me that the Bulls are looking to go the rebuilding route, and they should have done that after they failed to even make the NBA Finals back in 2022. They ended as the 6th seed. They should have went that route since then. Less than a minute left of the game. Lauri Markkanen makes a clutch mid-range, putting us up by 2 points. 39 seconds left. They go to Franz. Jalen Suggs takes a 3. He misses it. And we have the possession. Up by 2. They're not gonna play the foul game, so let's just waste clock, because the clock is kind of our friend. I wanted to pass it to Lauri, but look at that. He's being double teamed. Sexton wide open off the skip pass. He misses it. The Magic had to call a timeout with 40 seconds left in the game. You already know Franz is going to be the one to shoot it, because he's their best player in this situation. 5 seconds left. He tries to attack Lauri. He shoots it over Walker Kessler and he misses it. If he made that, we would have went to overtime, but we hold on to win to the end. I wish I could show the clips earlier, but I wanted to keep this video short. But I'm going to show the box score. Franz scored 42 points. He was cheesing us in this entire game. Their second lead scorer was Jalen Suggs as well. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and Lauri Markkanen scored 20 plus points each. Look at that balanced scoring for us. That was a great game at the end. And the last game of this video is against the Atlanta Hawks. They did not have Trae Young this game, so I decided to go with my experiment lineups, which I usually do when teams have some of their players missing and in some other random games. Keontae George played really well for us. I'm going to show some clips as to why he did, but I'm not going to talk about that because I'm going to start mentioning the deals that have been made as of the making of this video. Well, speaking of the Bulls, who I mentioned near the end of that Magic game, the Bulls were a part of the 3-team trade that includes the Sacramento Kings and the San Antonio Spurs. And this is also another blockbuster trade that was being talked about even for as long as Jimmy Butler is being talked about. It was the trade that sent De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs, and it marks the end of his tenure in Sacramento. It was sort of a great run. He was the big reason why the Kings were able to end their playoff drought. It was obscene. Like, it was so long since the Kings last made the playoffs until the year 2023. You have to feel for Kings fans because it's been so long since they experienced playoff basketball. And it was a great series as well. They took the Warriors to 7 games, and that was the same Warriors team that won the championship back in 2022. Interrupting the program just to tell you guys that I challenged this call on the John Collins foul because it looked like he was straight up. Like, he was really straight up. He did not go like into the defender. And Walker Kessler also blocked that. And if that call stands, and if that call stood, that would have been another block robbery for Kessler. Like, he gets so much robberies blocked, all due to those BS fouls. And that challenge led to an and one for me. That was a 5-point swing right there. So going back to the trade, so Yeah, the Spurs got De'Aaron Fox. The Kings got Zach LaVine. So that would mean Zach LaVine is teammates with DeMar DeRozan yet again. And the funny thing is, they were away from each other for 4 months after DeRozan wanted out, after the Bulls got Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso in the offseason. Like, DeRozan had enough. He wanted to go to a team that was willing to be a more playoff-oriented team. But the team he got traded to was almost as bad as the Bulls. Because after that playoff series against the Warriors, the Kings didn't really make a lot of improvements. And it resulted to them losing against the Pelicans in the play-in tournament, missing the playoffs after making it last season. So he wanted to try and help the Kings move up the rankings, but they are still ways to go to try and put themselves on the top of the West. The Kings just fired Mike Brown, and Doug Christie, while he had a good start, the Kings haven't been really gaining much momentum since then. And that trade to the Spurs, we don't know how it's going to fare for both teams, because we don't know how it's going to make the Spurs much better, because the Spurs are number 12 in the West, and the Kings are on their way to the 8th spot, which would mean they would have a play-in spot at least. And the Spurs are far off below the standings, and we don't know if they're going to be able to catch the 10th spot, because the West is very tight, contrary to what you think. The Bulls got Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins out of the 3-team trade, which is a good thing for both Kings and Spurs fan bases, because Huerter has not been the same player as he was in 22-23 season, and Zach Collins was just becoming too redundant now. And here is one move, a singular deal, that shocked everyone, like me included. It was a move that no one saw coming, and it was between the Dallas Mavericks and the LA Lakers, with Utah being the 3rd team. And it was a move that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and Anthony Davis goes to the Mavs. So I'm going to discuss my opinions about it on a separate video, because it is all too shocking to take. Like, we never saw it coming. And to add to that, Nico Harrison isn't done yet. So with 30 seconds, and look, another fail. I'm at 11, 10 seconds to go. I'm still at 2 stars. Oh, another fail. I'm at 12. Come on, 5 seconds. I am so lucky enough to get the 3rd star at the end of that workout. So that was so much different.